Okay, we are live. Let me refresh my pages quick and I'll get this shared out.
Got a dog there, huh?
That's the neighbors. I may have to shut the window. Okay, come on. Let me refresh one more time. Okay, we are going on YouTube. So we're going to get that shared out. I need a faster laptop, I think.
That could be the thing. Mine's quite a few years old, so you let me know if there's any trouble.
Okay. All right, got that shared out. Close that window. Hey, Jeannie, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, Jana. Thanks for popping in. We are just getting started. I'm getting everything shared out here. If I can get my laptop to load. It's having a few issues here. Okay, there we go. The Cobra Paranormal page is live. I just got there shared out. And the Otter's Den page isn't having an issue. So, hi Jay, hey, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Okay. Well, we'll just do it this way. All right, everybody popping in. I'm sure most of you that are already on here know my guest tonight, Jeannie Andrews. Thank you for popping in on the Otter's Den.
It's Jenny, and I get called all kinds of names.
Okay. All right. I found out this is her first time on a podcast like this, so I'm very privileged. Again, thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're going to be discussing a little bit about what it is she does, which has to do with the entertainment industry. Something I'm interested in, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers are going to be interested in too, as well. So with that, I am going to hand the reins over to her for just a bit and let her kind of explain what she does and how she does it.
All right. Well, I think you called me Jeannie. Did you call me Jeannie?
I said Debbie. It might have came out.
You did? That's all right. I'm usually called Betty. So it is Debbie Andrews.
Yeah, Debbie.
Yeah, I'm an independent casting agent, basically retired. I kind of keep my hands in things a little bit and do things on the side just to keep myself busy. I've been in the business a little over 35 years. I started out at a very, very young age. A lot of people, I think the number one question I get is, how did you get into that type of business? How did you get into the industry? Well,
yeah,
I was in college. We got to visit one of our classes. I went to Otter Fashion College, and one of our courses there, I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I was going to be a famous fashion designer. Well, then I realized you had to actually be able to draw and to sew, and I couldn't do either one of those things. So I changed my major to merchandising, fashion merchandising. And we had a guest speaker come in, and after she came in and she spoke with us, she, for some reason, approached me after a class and asked me if I had ever considered getting into the modeling industry on the side of being an agent, booking models, actors, and so on. And that's something that had never even crossed my mind. Of course, I've got the big-eyed dreams of designing clothes still at this point. So I kind of said, yeah, I suppose so. And she just so happened to have been based in Houston, and that is where I was going to be living after I graduated and when I got married. And so I said, sure, what the heck, I'd like to look into something like that. She said, I could set up an interview for you. And she hooked me up with this wonderful little company. I'm going to throw in here, Barr. Paige Parks, models rep in Houston, Texas.
There you
So
go.
here I am, this young girl, I would say barely 18 years old, and their organization, their agency was fairly new, just getting off the ground. So I'm really proud to be one of the people that was on the ground with her, establishing this agency that's really well known now, has strong connections to the Ford modeling agency. And that's where I got my start. I started with Paige Parks in Houston, Texas. And it's amazing to me the amount of talent that came out of the state of Texas that people aren't aware of. People like Matthew McConaughey, Angelina Jolie, Kirsten Dunst, Farrah Fawcett, Patrick Swayze. So many people that you would have no idea really their talent originated or was discovered or found here in the state of Texas. So
Yeah, I had no idea.
yeah, so we're talking about mid to late 80s was really the heyday for me. And this is way before we had Photoshop, way before we had social media. This is where when we hired models and we needed to make any changes to their photographs, we had to hire artists that came in with colored pencils and actually put their pictures on these boxes that lit up from behind and drew on them with colored pencils, like a work of art, like a painting.
Okay.
And we couriered our information to clients. You know, we had people that got on bicycles with envelopes full of pictures, and they rode their bicycles over to a client and dropped off our pictures, and then the client sorted through individual pictures and made choices as to who they were going to hire. And so that's what I started doing. I started booking models, and I was so young that I really didn't have a concept of how crazy the work was that I was doing. I didn't have a concept of who some of the superstars were. They were just people to me, and I was their boss. So I'm this young kid with a lot of power and a lot of decision making. And there was a lot of make it or break it decisions that were made by me. Yeah, you're going to make it in this industry, or no, you're not. One of my greatest stories that I like to share is about Jay Leno.
Really?
Jay Leno came to Houston, and he was making the comedy club circuit in the mid 80s. And so what we did to try to help promote him was to give away tickets to these various comedy clubs and have people go and give us some feedback. What do you think? What do you think about this guy? So I could not give these tickets away. I could not get people to be interested in going to see Jay Leno, or they told me they don't like this guy and he's not funny. So I had him sit across the desk for me, and once again, I'm this young girl, but we're talking about 35, 36, 37 years ago.
Yeah.
And I tell Jay Leno, you're not funny. I can't help you. You're never going to make it in this business. And now you see Jay Leno with his 15 cars and his, billions of dollars. And I'm the girl that told him he wasn't funny and he was never going to get anywhere. So I have
That's
a lot
hilarious.
of stories I have a lot of stories like that really human, where you don't see someone on a celebrity status, you just related to them on a human level. So there's a lot of that. But during that time, there were a few times with me as an agent, I had the opportunity to do some work myself. So I had some times back when I was with Paige Parks, and I branched off onto the Ford modeling agency. And then we had some stiff competition with another agency by the name of Wilhelmina. So I went to work for Ford, and then I went on to Wilhelmina. So over these 35 to 37 years, those are the three major companies that I've worked with. Some of those had acting divisions, so therefore I got more into actors. And we actually had some that had music divisions. So then I worked with a lot of musicians. So I'll show you if you're interested. If you want me to show you a few pictures. And the funniest thing about this is when I show these, whenever somebody sees this, and I show them, I'm just going to scan through real quick. Okay. You'll start to see some of these photographs. And I've had people say, who are all these women? When I go through this book, some of it looks upside down by the way that I'm holding it here, but so just a brief, interesting thing is all of these women.
Are you?
Woo, there you go. are me.
How about
So it
that?
shows the variety from when I'm an 18-year-old kid on up to an ad I did for Calvin Klein, which this might not show up, this black and white one here, but there, it's upside down. That was
A little
on Times
difficult, but you can
Square.
make it out.
Billboard on Times Square. That's my claim to fame for Calvin Klein. So yeah, being in the industry, what I had said in some of what I prefaced is it's who you know. Getting
Yeah,
in is tough. Getting into the record business, the acting business, the modeling business, it's always about who you know. So
getting that break.
I yeah, so sometimes I got on the back side of the camera to see what it felt like, and that's particularly to work with certain photographers, which I have many really good friends that are on my Facebook that I hope will see this, that know that I still love and support them, that I've worked with since the 1980s, that have photographed myself back in the day, and that are still out there doing that kind of work today, which is really beautiful and amazing. So kind of what I feel like I do now is my life is a lot more about connecting people. It's not about working full time in an office, making a lot of money and making people famous. It's about connecting people on a really human level, basic level. If someone has a question about the industry, they can come to me, because I'll tell you what, it's a tough industry to get through to. There's a lot of gatekeepers you can't get through. You don't get return phone calls, you don't get return emails. And it's
Yeah.
tough, and it's hard on your self-esteem and your self-worth when you're trying to get into this industry. So that's kind of what I'm here for now, is helping people maybe get through those gates. And I've got some amazing, I call it, what was a kid, AJ Gardner, that told me, what you do is what we call hacks, hacks of the industry. And I was like, yeah, I like that, because that's true. That's what I do. I give you the hacks, how to
Okay.
get inside and how to get into the business. So I don't know if anybody has any particular questions that they want me to address, but that's kind of the lowdown on. I started at a really young age. I just got lucky. I met somebody who was in the business, who got me in, and it just took off from there.
Right, right place,
Otherwise,
right time, right person.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, otherwise, I don't really know how to tell someone to just go to today. You can't just go apply for a job at the Ford Modeling Agency to be a booking agent or a casting agent. You can't just go to Disney or any network and say, I want to be a casting agent, and they go, oh, yeah, come on in. It doesn't
Right.
work
Yeah.
that way.
You almost have to be referred by somebody who's already in the business. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. It
Yeah.
really does. It's
Yeah.
really cool that you got to, start out with that, very young agency at a very young age, and you got to
Mhm.
grow with, right along with that agency as it grew. That's,
Yes.
I really, I'm really impressed by that. That's cool.
Yeah. It was
Um,
wonderful.
quick question. Since you told Jay Leno he wasn't funny, have you ever got to talk to him again? Did he get to tell you, yes, I am funny?
There were times, just in the early stages, yeah. But like
Okay.
now, it would be one of those situations where if I did run into him, I'm sure he would remember me. Those are the things in the beginning of your career. You always remember the first no. You always remember the first smackdown. You always remember that, that person that you don't like, that agent that was like, ugh, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, oh, he would know me. Let's just say that, yeah, he'd know me.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Back when I was looking for help with my paranormal issues, I was talking to this TV show and that TV show. I was really working on the Dead Files hard. And it took
yeah.
me 4 or 5 years before I actually got them to come and, get the help that I needed. So I
Hmm.
totally get about getting those no's, over and
Yes.
over and over. I had to keep
Hmm.
working at it and fighting, and finally I got that yes.
Hmm. Yeah, persistence does pay off, and that's one thing that I noticed about you, is that you didn't give up. You continued to push for your story to be heard. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, this is what I tell everybody: at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all human. We're not a celebrity. We're not a title. We are human at the end of the day. And from from casting agents like myself, or producers, writers, filmmakers, they all eventually are scrolling through their social media, checking their emails, doing human things. So the hacks
Mhm.
that I teach, I'm not going to give them here publicly. If people are
Sure.
welcome to reach out to me on a private basis, I don't charge anything for this. I've had quite a few people do it, and so finally I felt like it's time for me to just go ahead and say, if you need some help, let me know. I can help you to a certain point. You're going
Right.
to have to do the work yourself, but I can give you these little hacks as to how to get through. That's just kind of where I felt like I wanted to get that information out, so people can help themselves, but still get a push from behind and a name behind them that can help them get in. Yeah,
That's
you did a great
awesome.
job getting your stuff on Dead Files and doing what you do. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It it
Yeah.
took a lot. I really had to fight through because
Mhm.
the paranormal was fighting against me getting this done. So
Mhm.
it
Sure.
was it was a heck of a journey. Um,
I've had several paranormal castings, and I'm not sure if that's how you and I met. That may be how we connected in the very beginning, was through one of my castings. I've had quite a few.
I really
Not
didn't
recently.
try. I didn't try to get on any shows in that aspect. I was just trying to get one of them to come help me.
Right.
And
Okay.
nothing really panned out until the Dead Files, and it was phone call after phone call after phone call from the
Yeah.
producer, this producer, and then that
Mhm.
producer. And, hey, Keith, this is
Mhm.
this producer. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
roll over your story
That's
again. I'd like to hear it.
and that's
And
the thing. It's 100 times all over from the beginning too.
yeah, yeah, they were looking for consistency. They were looking for changes. They were looking for, tone of voice, how you told your story. Um,
Yes.
They were trying to make sure I wasn't a crackpot. I wasn't crazy. I was telling the truth. I wasn't just trying to get on
Sure.
TV. And
Mhm.
finally I just told them, I don't care if you put me on TV or not. I need the help. And I
Right.
think that's what finally got them to really pay attention. And then the next thing I know, Steve's on his way out, and Amy's on the way out.
Mhm.
She doesn't walk. And they're like, I think they were still a little skeptical, but after Amy did her walk, they're like, no, we're doing this.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
It's bad. So,
Well,
and
I
that's
can't see if anybody's posting any questions. So
oh,
if you want to
okay.
read them out, I'm not seeing anything on our screen here.
Let me scroll back through here just a little bit because I've been paying attention to you and not paying any attention to the comments. I apologize, people out there listening. I am, yeah. So,
I can't see who's out there or anything. I'm not seeing anything on this end. Oh, I see Jeannie. Hi,
Jeannie,
Jeannie. I love you.
had to throw that up.
Jeannie Cash. She's an amazing, amazing woman that you should have on your show someday. She's a kindness advocate. If nobody knows what a kindness advocate is, get to know Jeannie, and you will learn real quick what a kindness
Okay.
advocate is. And that's just another word for a really, really beautiful human being.
I've had
So hi,
a couple
Jeannie.
discussions with her, so we'll see what happens there. I am
Awesome.
definitely not opposed to that. Let's see. Pretty much, we've got a bunch of haze, and how you doing? I'm glad to
Wyona.
see you.
Hi, Wyona. Wyona's here. I love Wyona. And she's another one that I'd love for you to talk to. She does amazing work with senior citizens. She's the mother of a special needs child that is amazing. He and his girlfriend are called the Lovebirds, and she follows them around and videos these amazing, beautiful love stories between these two young adults with special needs that are in love as a couple, and it's so beautiful. Wyona, I love her. She's an amazing, amazing woman as well. I hope that you'll meet her someday too.
I've talked with her a little bit also.
Ah, look at that.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's when it comes down to it, the circles get smaller and smaller, and people start connecting, and that's what it's all about. I see my friend John. Love you, Gator. He's a great guy.
That is one
Thanks for
thing
being
I've
here, John.
noticed in
Madonna
my journey.
Barr. You talked to Madonna, haven't you? My beautiful girlfriend from down under in Australia. She was a radio DJ, and she would dance every week. She'd have dance parties on live on air, and I would join her in Australia and dance to her music. And amazing voice.
I have talked to so many people here in the last week or so. I'm gonna have to check. If I haven't,
you go get you a notebook and start writing down, because you got some amazing folks coming around. Yeah. Madonna Barr, she does feng shui, she does qigong. I'm not sure if I pronounce all that right, but she's an amazing, just a fantastic, exuberant personality that is so lovely. She's been with Oprah. She's hung out with people like that. She's a really just a really cool person to know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will definitely reach out.
So I do see the comments here. I see Brenda saying a friend of ours was a model rep with Wilhelmina, and I think she should reach out to you. Absolutely, Brenda. If you have anybody that you want to have reach out to me, just make sure that they tell me that they're your friend, because I don't like to get bombed by strange people that I don't know. But if they name dropping is what it's all about. It's all about who you know. So if your friend tells me that you sent her, absolutely tell her to give me a holler. I am retired, but I worked there in the 90s into the early 2000s. So I'm not sure how long she's been there, or whether she would know me or not, but that would be interesting. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. One question that I've got, we don't really have it. We're caught up on comments. Is like I say, a lot of hellos. How you doing? Great to see you. You're beautiful. Doing great. Breathe. Appreciate all those. No real questions so far. Oh yeah, breathing is good. Let me tell you what. One question that I have personally, went to Scarefest last year. Did the booth with the Spirit Mechanics. Those are the people that Amy sent up to help us. And I met a man by the name of Olaf. He does like voiceover acting. So I was talking with him briefly about that. He kind of explained what it was a little bit. But then I had to get back to the booth, and we never really got back to, a good discussion about that. What exactly is voiceover acting, and how would one get into it?
Well, actually, that's harder and harder now. Just along with what used to be called body doubles, parts modeling, which is your hands, feet, elbows. A lot of those things have fallen to the wayside because of technology. So everybody nowadays can hop on a computer and voice over anything. So it's not considered a big, huge talent anymore. Like we had the hand models and we had the feet models. Everybody could be a hand model and a foot model now because it's all digital. Unfortunately, there's not a lot out there for someone who just wants to be marketed as a voiceover person. That's really similar to broadcasting. You'd be better off trying to get into radio, into broadcasting of some sort. I really honestly would not even know where to point somebody that wanted to do voiceover work anymore. It's technology has taken over, and it's not really something that's widely sought out anymore by clients. And that just simply means you have a really unique voice. So you have a really great voice. Madonna Barr is a really good example of that. Madonna has an amazing radio voice. Wyona has an amazing radio voice. What you want to hear. You want to hear that on television. You want to hear that on radio. And that is, okay, so you're watching TV and the commercial comes on and you see people doing things, but you hear the voice talking about what the people are doing. That's a voiceover personality. That's just somebody with a really good voice.
That voice, the vibration, that grabs your attention and makes you pay attention.
Yes, absolutely. And the best thing that you can do, if someone's interested in that, they can message me privately. I can point them in a direction where they can go and try themselves to submit to do that type of work. But as the norm, it's just not very widely sought out anymore.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'd really like the old school stuff back again, where we have, we hold up pictures like these, and we send pictures like these to clients, and we send actual, real, tangible things to look at and hold in your hands. We don't do that anymore. Everything's sent in a digital file.
Yeah. Click, drop, drag.
Yeah. Sometimes, to me, sometimes change is not is not that great, but that's
It takes
change is
all the
happening.
yeah, it takes all the personalization away from everything. You don't get
Yeah,
to talk
absolutely.
to, face to face with the people you're working with that much, or even on the phone. Again,
Mhm.
that voice, that vibration, you can feel people's tone, you can feel people's intent.
Yes.
Are they being shady? Are they being truthful? I mean, a lot of that comes out in the vibration and the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. So
Uh,
Olaf, Olaf is the out of work right now, but Olaf needs to look for some radio work, and he needs to maybe send some of his voice reels to some different acting and talent agencies and see if he can get in. It's all about just consistency and trying.
okay,
Those are some of the hacks that I have that I can't really say in person right now because I don't want to make other people mad either. I've got a lot of friends in the industry that don't want to be bombarded. They don't want to
sure,
be bothered all the time by unsolicited people contacting them. So I'll do
yeah,
that privately. If someone wants to message me, I'll share those more intimate hacks, how to get through, and it'll be quite interesting. I mean, I think most people will find it really, really interesting. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're all human. So I teach you or teach people how to understand that you're just dealing with a human being. You're not dealing with a superstar. You're not dealing with
yeah,
somebody that's untouchable. And
right,
I think,
absolutely.
yeah, those are the most helpful things is putting everybody on just a basic human level, which creates that comfort level on both ends, on the person that wants to submit. And Matt's asking, hey, Matt, what's that on the wall behind me? Dude, those are seashells. You know it. Look, seashells. It's a seashell wind chime that I made. And I've got just shells and shells. My shark's teeth and all that are over here in this little crazy area you see behind me. So those are my seashells and one of my beach hats up there on the wall. That's what you're
Nice,
seeing, Matt.
nice. I see a lot of your posts about
Matt
your
doesn't care
beach
about.
crimes.
Yeah. Matt
Just
cares
start-
more about my beach stuff. He really does. He wants to see all my beach things, and well, because he's retired Coast Guard, of course he's gonna love everything ocean related.
That's absolutely understandable.
Those are my seashells from
Absolutely.
the Gulf of Mexico. One of my many hundreds of wind chimes I've made over the years.
Here's one.
Oh, Jana. So Jana Lynn Clark Lott is a girlfriend of mine that I know has been in the industry as well. She knows quite a few famous people, but she's asking, what did you have to do to work behind the scenes in camera and television? Okay, that's a great question because I did start off early in the podcast. If people missed it, talking about how I started out in the modeling industry, how I started out as a booking agent in the modeling industry, how I did some modeling myself, though that was never something I was interested in because I was really short. So I didn't meet the criteria, but I did do swimwear and sports modeling, sportswear modeling for quite some time. Italian shoes because I had a size 5 foot, and they looked better on a runway than a size 10. So behind the cameras uh, is when I started casting, which wasn't until really heavily into the late 2000s. So 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19 were my heaviest years of doing a lot of work behind the cameras, casting some major shows. Like we talked about, you can go to my IMDb page and see the shows that I've worked on, but I've done some major motion pictures like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Red Notice, which is still in production right now. Captain Marvel is one a lot of people know of. The Conjuring 3, I think it was the third Conjuring movie that was made. That's up your alley there. But primarily, I
Absolutely.
got involved behind the cameras in casting when I just got in with an independent casting agent in Dallas that did a ton of work on shows like New Amsterdam, Queen of the South, Blacklist, Better Call Saul. I've done Orange is the New Black, Dynasty, The Resident, Chicago PD, Greenleaf. Oh, I just cast The Bachelor. That was a good one. I worked on the latest Bachelor. So how I got behind the scenes is the same way I got into the modeling industry. One led to the other, from Page Parks to Ford to Wilhelmina to then acting divisions being created in those agencies. And when they're brand new, here I am, always a startup. I'm like, I can do it. I'll do it. And so I'm the first one that says, hey, I'll do it. And so I volunteer and I help create an acting division within a modeling agency. That's how you get behind the cameras. That's how you get behind the scenes. That's how I did it. For someone else, like just that walks up to me and says, how do I get behind the camera? How do I get behind the scenes? I'll say, well, do you know somebody that works there?
Yeah.
Do you know somebody at Disney? Do you know somebody at NBC, ABC? Do you know somebody at Netflix, Hulu? You're going to have to know somebody that's in there somewhere. Otherwise, people used to go to films. People still do go to film school. And the good thing about going to film school is the same thing about why I went to a fashion college, because that fashion college brought in speakers that were in the industry that I wanted to be in. So if you go to film school, if there are fashion colleges still out there to this day, they're going to bring in speakers that are in your area doing what you want to do, that you're going to be able to talk to like you're talking to me, that can give you an in. And hopefully a miracle happens that someone looks at you and just says, I see something in you. I see something in you that I'm willing to stick my neck out and use my name and help you get a job interview. And that's how I got behind the cameras, was by helping to create those divisions within modeling agencies. The modeling agency existed. Now let's do some acting, or let's do some voice work. So then that you see this branch start to come down like this into different divisions, and I helped start those divisions. That's how I got behind the scenes.
I like that.
Hope that answers.
That's cool. It's kind of like wrestlers on the I grew up watching WWE wrestling. Okay, and then over the years, all of a sudden, these wrestlers started popping into movies. And that's, at least in my limited capacity here, that's, to me, that's exactly what you're talking about. They're branching out. Vince McMahon had his wrestling division, but then he started, producing movies also.
Yes.
And he used his own wrestlers as actors. The Rock, John Cena.
Yeah, I worked with him on Jumanji. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. In a way, 2020 is kind of like a monthly Jumanji. Okay, what level are we on this? This month. It's crazy.
Exactly. If I could say one thing about 2020 and COVID and quarantine, now is the time. The number one hack that I can give anybody right now that's wanting to get in the industry, everybody, nothing's happening and nobody's filming, right? Everything is virtual. I'll tell you what, myself are sitting at home. They're not in the office where there's so much going on and there's so many distractions, they can't get to everything. They're more leisurely, they're more laid back, and they do have more time, and they will pay more attention. Now is the time to submit to these agencies, to put your face in front of them, to reach out to them, even if they're not advertising that they're hiring, if they're not having open calls, obviously, where you can show up on the doorstep and show them what you look like. But still, I will still contact people. Now is the time to really be making these connections and making these contacts in this time of where things are quieter. That's the number one thing I can tell you. It's a good time. People aren't out on the production floor producing, shooting, and filming movies. They're beginning to, but it's slow enough that it is time where new talent can be seen. And you're at home, you can make videos. You got time to make a couple of videos. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be anything on a super professional level. It can be pretty simple, something that you want to submit. And once again, I can give you some hacking tips for getting those things done too. I just won't do them here today.
Right. That's actually good knowledge, and you've actually got my mind rolling, because I do throw a few videos out here and there.
Now's the time.
And you really kind of got my mind rolling, because my life is one aspect, one path is kind of stopping right now. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but that path is, that brick, the spirit put that brick wall on. I'm not going any further. I'm not supposed to go that way. So I got to go back down to this fork and then I got to go over this
Mm-hmm.
way. I got to look for that different door that's going to open somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different paths right now in my life are
Mm-hmm.
changing. I'm supposed to be growing. I'm supposed to be putting myself out there, helping more people. That's what Spirit tells me I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to help more people, which is why I'm doing this.
Exactly.
I've got paranormal people coming on to help with people with paranormal issues. And I decided, I kind of heard a little get bigger. So I'm looking into talking to people that can give some different information out and help my viewers, learn different aspects of the entertainment industry, which with as many shows are on, in a way, we can kind of work back into the paranormal. I mean, it all can be worked back to, spirit vibration. He gives you this door. Are you going to open it, or are you going to slam it shut and walk away from it? So that's one thing I've been thinking about is, which
and
path
good.
next.
Now's your time.
Absolutely.
Now's your time to create content that you want to share and push it. And I do have more information on that.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
I'm laughing because Jeannie wants to know what I found on my beach walk today.
I've been waiting to put that out there. I've been waiting to throw that out.
5 shark's teeth? I think that's my all-time record. I think I got 5 high fives, shark's teeth today, and a bite plate from a ray.
Yay.
I got like a manta ray. It's a square bite plate with like ridged teeth in it. That's the first one of those that I found. So yeah, it was a very productive morning, all within like the first 30 minutes of hitting the beach in one area. It was really good.
30.
And that's what I like to do. And sometimes.
And then 5 stands for change. So you found 5 shark's teeth. Okay. And then 3, you got the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Together, that's 8. That's infinity. So I look at numbers, there you go. Got signs all around you. Everybody, all the time. It's just whether or not you can see them and perceive them. So there may be a change coming up here pretty soon. You never know.
Interesting. I like that. So one other thing that I wanted to say, thanks Brenda, I love the wind chime. I make those and give them away by the dozens. I've mailed them all over the world to different friends. I find the driftwood and I find all the shells, and then I make these little wind chimes like you see behind me with my little hat there, and I ship them out. Just give them as gifts. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing that. And so one thing I want to say, another thing that I want to say about this business that we're talking about, everybody wants to be a star until it's time to be a star. And that's the other problem that I have. I have a lot of people that I want to be a star, but they want to be where someone walks up to them and says, oh my gosh, you're a star, and I'm going to put you up on the stage and now you're a star. It does not happen that way. Again, in the 80s and the 90s, when I was really heavy in the business, it did happen that way. We were walking in the mall and we saw a cute kid or a beautiful human being, and we gave them our business card and we said, come see me. And they would drive to your office and they would come in and say, hey, I met you in the mall. And we would sit down and talk and we would sign them up. And next thing you know, they're off gallivanting across the world modeling. It used to happen that way. There is so much competition now with social media and with what we've talked about with technology, that it used to be that you would have a few dozen competitors. We'd have an open casting call and 12, 20 girls would show up, 25, even 100. Now, if I put out a casting, you could be up against 250,000 people that want the same job as you, because they can click a button on their computer and submit their information. So they're long gone is the day of you walking through the mall and somebody discovering you. So if you are walking through the mall and someone tells you that they want you to be a model, you need to beware, first of all, because we don't scout like that anymore. It doesn't happen that way. Everybody wants to be a star until it's time to be a star. I've helped so many people get into record companies, modeling agencies, and then they just they fall off the radar, or they get scared is the number one thing. They lose it and go, oh, I thought I wanted to be, but I'm really not ready. Because what you want to know about reality television, anybody want to be on The Bachelor? Let me tell you what that's going to entail. That's going to entail giving up the next 4 months of your life. No work, no family. You'll sign contracts where you will keep secrets. You cannot talk about anything. You cannot reveal anything. So your life for 4 to 6 months as who you are becomes non-existent in order for you to be on this reality television. And this is all the every reality television show I've ever had, including what some of you may know. Recently, I was to be on a reality television show myself out in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And it was being drug out and out and out. And I got up the nerve, in my opinion, to cancel the contract and say, I don't want to do this. This is not something I want to do. And I'm so grateful that it was stalled, because it gave me more time to think. Because at first, when the opportunity presented itself, it sounded great, and I'm going to go have an amazing time out in Beverly Hills and hang out with my friends out there and be on the beach and eat and stay in fancy hotels and do all this great stuff. But I wasn't thinking about beyond just the 3 to 6 weeks I was going to be in Beverly Hills. I wasn't thinking that for however long after that, until we actually went on air, I still couldn't talk about it. I still could not share what I was doing, what project I was working on. So reality television is not all it is cracked up to be. And then the other thing about reality television is the way we look at it is the pay is really real, but you get out there, like you mentioned, the wrestlers, a wrestler then becoming an actor, a producer, what they've gone on to become governors of different states, things like that. Reality television gives you exposure. It creates a fan base. And then merchandise can come, other shows can come, recognition, people see you, they start following you, then you start getting paid to do ads. So reality television is not about money at all. It's a lot of hassle, it's a lot of sacrifice, but you look at the long term as to where you can go from there. I worked with the Kardashians when they lived in Houston. Nobody even knew who they were. Nobody even knew who the Kardashians were. They were just a bunch of little girls, you know. I helped the Kardashians get on, Kim Kardashian get on the MTV when she first did MTV as a young teenager. That was out of Houston. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Look at them now. That all started from reality television.
Yeah, they're huge. They're huge now. Mm-hmm. Everybody, you know, every household knows that name. You know, they're huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Debbie, what is in your decision process on jobs you take? Okay, for me personally, it's going to be totally different than most casting agents because I am retired. I pick and choose what I want. I get picky, and any given day, I can't tell you what my sources are, but I can on a daily basis receive emails offering me a casting for let's say I really do a lot of the Chicago Med and the Chicago PD. Chicago Fire. So, you know, those 3 shows, most people know them. I believe they're an NBC. I'm going to get that wrong. NBC affiliate. So I will get an email saying, would you be interested in casting this extras for this show? Or we need some minor speaking roles, or we need one person for a major speaking role, or we need some little kids. I pick and choose if I want to do it or not. And it's really easy for me to reject because I don't have to do it. I'm not employed by them full time. I don't rely on that for my primary source of income. I pick and choose what I want to do, which is much different than the average casting. It's an agency, like an agency that has 2 or 3 people within it, usually with one head, like an umbrella, and then there's people that work underneath them. I will also sub out for them. There's other agencies that will be looking for talent and reach out to me and go, hey, Deb, do you know anybody? That's when you see it come up on my Facebook page or my Instagram. Those are usually secondary castings. I just pick and choose what I want to do from them. So again, it's not like just an ordinary person can go see what all castings are available out there in the world and decide that they want to apply to work as an actor. It's always a process that you have to go through. I do have some hacks on that, though. I do have some hacks on how you as an individual can find some castings on your own without having to go through an agent. So
I like the sound of that.
If you're rewatching this, You can hit me up and ask me what those are, and I'll share those with you. I'm just not going to share them here, where I'll have every producer, filmmaker, and director that I know on my Facebook or Instagram messaging me mad that I'm giving away. What is she
Yeah, you don't
doing,
want to do
telling
that.
people all this stuff? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Shh, quiet. Yeah.
Madonna Barr, no, I scrolled back up. I did not see your question. I apologize. So if you would, can you throw that question back out? And while we're waiting for that, we will throw this one up.
What casting job was the most difficult for you? One that caused me a little bit of trouble was Bridezilla. And the reason it caused me trouble is because I was on vacation and I was really trying to vacation, and we had a Bridezilla all ready to go, and then she backed out. So that's the worst thing. When you have contracts done, you have somebody set up and they back out, and you got to start the process all over again. And that's also another reason why I don't do it on a full-time basis, because it really is a 24/7 job. An agent cannot be off duty, because if an actor doesn't show up on scene, they're going to call that agent and say, where's your person? I didn't want to have the 24-hour, 7-day a week being bothered. And that was a big one for me. So Bridezilla was kind of a rough one for me, but it turned out really good, and ended up great. But that was probably the most challenging one that I've done. Some of my more exciting ones, Orange is the New Black. Oh my gosh, that's like the hottest show going on. Ozark, I've worked on Ozark, Better Call Saul. Those are some of the top hot shows that are going on right now. So as far as the thrill, those are thrilling for me, because those are shows that everybody's really, really into. 90 Day Fiance. That's one of my guilty pleasures as far as when I do watch television. I like the 90 Day Fiance, and I've been blessed to be a part of that. I really enjoy that one.
Cool. I mean, the variety that you get to cast for, I mean, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done a lot, like we've talked about, a lot of paranormal, a lot of DIY home shows. I've done MasterChef Junior, Hell's Kitchen. So I've done a lot of those as well. And those are fun. The kids' castings are fun, except for dealing with the parents sometimes. I'm a parent myself, and I had twins. So my girls had every opportunity to be in show business all their lives, and they did not ever want to be in front of the camera. They wanted nothing to do with being in front of the camera. So, I wasn't one of those stage moms.
It's awesome that you gave them the choice instead of just shoving them out there.
Never forced them.
Yeah.
Never forced them to do anything.
Madonna's question. Can you let us know
what are the vital components to include in a portfolio for an agent? Okay, so Madonna, that's a great question. And what I had discussed a little earlier in the show is that now 2020 during COVID is an amazing, wonderful time. What they're going to want to see is, particularly if you're into acting, is they're going to want to see about 3 clips, or what we called reels back in the day. And the reason we called them reels back in the day is because they were actual reels. Now it's just going to be a clip that you're going to send via email, maybe 3 30-second to 60-second clips of yourself or the talent, if it's your child, doing whatever they're doing, reading, acting, interacting, doing something silly, funny, and never more than 3 of those. And then there's always going to be included a headshot, a full body shot, a waist up shot, sometimes side to side. That's it. Those are the basic, as the word that you use is vital. Those are absolutely vital. Going to have to see what they sound like if they want to be an actor. Have to hear that voice. Of course, going to want to see what's their face look in front of the camera, or what happens once the video starts rolling. And it's not that hard. It's a few simple things. If you can create even a draft folder in your own email with that information in it, and hang on to it, once you know how to reach out to a casting agent, you can send that email. I'm giving out one of my hacks that I said I wasn't going to, but you could attach all that to an email of a casting agent, and you can forward it and say, upcoming new talent. Okay, that's what you're going to put in the subject line, and then make the name, upcoming new talent, Madonna Barr. But those are the key components that they're going to want before you even have to ask them, what do I need to do? I'll tell you that's exactly what you need to do. Those are the things that are absolutely necessary. 30 to 60 seconds. You don't want to be sending in a 30-minute acting reel. You don't want to send in a 10-minute acting reel. We're not going to watch it. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to know in 30 to 60 seconds whether we're interested in you. So don't bore us. Don't waste our time. Put together 3 clips, 30 to 60 seconds, a series of about 5 photographs. And the hack I'm going to give you is how to get through to an agent, what to say to get that stuff through to an agent to get them to open your email and look at it.
I like that advice. And yes, if you saw my head shaking, I was over here taking notes, glancing over real quick. I am taking notes, just saying.
You can call me anytime.
All right. Here's one.
Debbie, what's your best advice? We're looking so fresh and beautiful. Jeannie. That's just to embarrass me. Oh, Jeannie, I love you.
Honestly, we did not set that up beforehand.
I don't know about that. That's questionable.
You look great.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you. Oh, she's been silly.
I'm learning so much that there's so much that I did not know is involved in casting for a show, and the different types of shows, and the process of the way it used to be versus the process of it now, and that it makes so much sense that there's so many people out there that want to get into this, and all they got to do is put their little stick in the computer, upload their stuff, throw in an email, send it off, you're done. Hand models, if there's a flaw, CGI it, whatever, it's done. It's just amazing the way things have changed, from then until now. And one thing I've noticed with, I'm just going to say everything that's going on this year, everybody was forced to stay home. Productions got shut down. Businesses got shut down. Everybody's at home doing their thing with their families. They're eating dinner at the table. They're learning to get along with each other now. It's almost kind of like, in a way, we got thrown back into the 70s. So maybe some other businesses will get kind of tossed back a little bit. Maybe some of that old stuff will start coming back up. Maybe they'll get more personal. That'd be nice if they did.
Perfect point. And that's my thing that I said. We're sitting at home now. We're more apt to look at the email. When we're in the office and we're stressed, it's like you're watching the clock go around and you got to get to your emails, and then someone over here is talking to you and this other person is talking to you. When you're at home, these agents, producers, directors, writers, choreographers, modeling agents, booking agents, whatever title they have more downtime, more human time right now than they ever have. You can hook their attention now more than you ever have been able to. And I have some people that are good friends of mine that are pretty well known in the acting industry. The kid AJ that I mentioned earlier, he's been in Disney movies, and he's still waiting on responses back from agents, reaching out to me saying, "Hey, Deb, what should I do?" This guy, was all into me, and now he doesn't even return an email or a phone call, and he's looking to me for some advice. And for me, I think it's just more comfort to say, it's okay, stay calm, give him X amount of time, then reach out again, because as an agent myself, I know how much time you should give, because honestly, I probably just forgot. I got busy. I didn't get back to you. So don't be afraid to remind me, but don't badger me either. So I'm advising this kid. Then I've got another really well-known actor that's been in major films that have been up for multiple awards, that now still needs help getting through to certain people. It's the tables have turned, the times have turned, and there's a lot of new, fresh stuff churning up. And like you said, if we could take it back to the 70s and the 80s when it was more real, when it was more the face-to-face, and you really had to work for it. You had to stand in front of a camera and have a photographer take a picture, and then you had to carry that picture in your book, and you had to have an appointment. You had to sit down and you slid your book across the table, and you sat there twiddling your thumbs while someone looked page by page by page, looking at them, looking at you, looking at them, looking at you, and you're sitting there nervous and sweating. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
You click a button and you send your stuff off, and then you just sit there going, oh gosh, I wonder what they think. You don't get to see their face. You don't see the eyes. You don't see the expression as they flip through those pages and go, ooh, oh wow, I really like this person, because I do a lot of facial expressions.
Exactly.
As they say, I can't hide it on my face.
You don't get
so,
to,
yeah, I'd like to see it go back to that.
Yeah, like you and I, I'm empathic. I can feel people's emotions. I can feel people's vibrations. I know if they're depressed, if they're happy. Sometimes it might take a little bit to get to know them in order for that to come through, but I also get that from emails, text, what have you. It's a lot easier if you're in the same room together, facing each other, talking to each other. Yeah, it still comes through like this, but if you're in the same room, within so many feet of each other, I mean, just the energy exchange, that is what we are supposed to have as human beings. We are supposed to have human interaction with each other, personal, in person, human interaction, not like this. I mean, even the talk shows now are still Skyping in, even though they can have, certain amount of guests in, they're still Skyping everybody in instead of having them in, right there. And that is one thing that is just bugging the heck out of me. Changes. There you go.
My favorite people at Real Men Real Talk. That's the whole thing there. These guys should be on television, on a syndicated network, but nobody's doing that right now. So there they are in the Zoom form of a call, having these shows, producing and putting out these amazing shows. That's what a lot of people are doing right now until we can get back into the studios and get to live television and recording and things like that. Shows like yours are going to be crucial for getting people out there and getting them seen. I think for you talking to the different people that you're talking to, the connections that are going to be made are just going to be amazing. It really is. It's needed in this time for people to be connecting with each other in really positive and beautiful ways, helping each other without an agenda.
Yeah, just to help. Just to help. When you got an agenda, it takes I'm just gonna say it takes the fun out of it. It makes it a job. When you're just trying to help somebody, that makes you feel good. You're doing something good for somebody with nothing expected in return. That's putting positivity out into the universe and the human collective, which raises the entire creation. And that's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Stories about casting nightmares. Hey, Billy. Ooh, one of my favorite humans. I know you know some. You're casting. He's casting right now. I guess I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure what you want me to say, but I know that he's currently casting for a couple of films. He's an amazing producer, director, writer, actor, everything. So I would say I talked a little bit earlier about how my Bridezilla was a really terrible casting. It was really stressful because I was on vacation, trying to have a vacation when that happened. But so I've never really had any fiascos other than that one. That was one where the contracts fell through and we had to start all over again. And I'm on the phone constantly while I'm supposed to be enjoying myself with a group of girlfriends I was with. And that was, it made things not really very pleasant. Other than that, I'm kind of an in-between person. So if I were the umbrella person, the main agency that has these people working underneath them, this person up here is going to worry about that situation a whole lot more than me. I'm the person that finds that talent and says, here you go. They sign off, reward me, and then it goes out of my hands. So I've put myself in the position where I'm not the main person that has to be contacted 24/7 for casting anymore. I'm kind of an in-between person. I find them, I pass them on, and then it's on to someone else. Do they still contact me? Yeah, the talent does, especially when they're mad about something and they're like, well, I don't like the way so and so is treating me or whatever. That's when I get that kind of, nightmarish feedback. But I keep myself out of the mix as much as possible and just kind of be the middleman. And I'll still cast for you, Mr. Blackwolf, anytime.
There you go. There you go, man. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Popping on, by the way. Here's one more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Madonna, the future of TV talk shows, they're going to come back. And, as I held this up earlier, I think you're familiar with these guys, Real Men, Real Talk, love them. They're going to be, they're going to be on television. Right now, it's just not happening. I have really, really high hopes for next year that things will open up and people will be back in studios. I think the main thing is for us to get through this winter where they're expecting that there might be a surge in numbers. I'm not really sure. I do know that they're erring on the side of caution.
Yeah.
But I do see that 2021 is going to come back better than ever. Television is going to come back better and stronger than ever because what's created is Real Men, Real Talk, the Otter's Den, Madonna Barr, Wyona's, the Jeannie Cashes, the Billy Blackwolves, the people like that are right now giving and giving and giving and connecting and loving and creating. Things are gonna explode for them next year because they've never left it. They've never given up and said, screw this. Let's get depressed or whatever. It's always that it's onward and upward. Always. There's always something to do. You come do an interview on the Otter's Den. Connect with other people and other people and other people and keep that circle going. It's coming back full force next year. I do not see anything coming back this year as far as the talk shows. But Madonna, I'd sure love to see you on a talk show.
There you go.
I'd love to hear you. It's singing and talking. It's beautiful.
I got her name down.
Oh, you'll love her.
I'll get a hold of her.
Yeah.
I just saw another question. Here it is. Here it is right there. Speaking of Madonna.
Oh, man. There's so many. And I mean, it's anything from name dropping of the people that I've been with, that I've whose lives I've touched, and one of them that I could tell you about would be Farrah Fawcett, and just every year working with her and her family, primarily on when they would come for their family portraits and setting up photographers for them, but getting to know someone on a really human, wonderful, intimate, personal level, and seeing the beauty that is them beyond superstardom. Just the human being. So the proudest moments for me are being able to call these people my friends, being able to call Matthew McConaughey my friend, Jennifer Flavin, who's Sylvester Stallone's wife, people that like that. My proudest moments are just the human beings that I've met, that I can call friends, that I love, that have supported me in the industry, and that in return, I've helped them get work. So, and all the recent accolades I've gotten because modeling was my thing in the first place. All of my stuff was in modeling. It was really just since 2015 that I got into the movie and acting business, and it just has been such a blessing for me. Particularly the past 2 years have been really, really lucrative for me, and I've done a lot of stuff in 2 years. So I'm really proud of my last 2 years accomplishments that you can see on my IMDb page.
That's awesome. Again, the human connection, the friends that you made, not because they're famous, but because they're good people.
Yeah.
And that makes such a big difference. There's stars out there that just aren't good people. But there are some very good people out there in that industry. And if you can become friends with them, personal, I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. Favorite painter, Joe Gardner. My favorite painter is this guy named Joe Gardner, and literally right here in my office. Come on, follow me out here, Joe. Check this out. That's Joe Gardner original, made for me,
Like it.
Signs. So funny, Joe. Who's my favorite artist? Joe Gardner. He's all over. He's in my kitchen. He's in my bedroom, my living room, here in my office. That's
Nothing
my
wrong with
favorite
getting
artist, Joe.
get that name out. Absolutely.
Right. That's hilarious. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, sweetheart. Love your hair. What's new and exciting happening in your life? Jeannie, you're asking me, girl? I'm the one I'm walking on the beach twice a day. That's what's new and exciting in my life.
Finding all kinds of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. New and exciting, Debbie. What's something you love to achieve that you haven't yet? Complete retirement.
Ooh. That would
No
be
more.
nice.
To be able to get that email that says, do you want to do these castings, and say, nah, I'm done with that. That's what I want to achieve, because honestly, beyond that, I don't feel lacking for anything. When people say, hey, do you have a bucket list? I don't have a bucket list, because I have lived my life. Man, I have lived my life, and I'm completely satisfied.
I totally get that
Nope.
aspect. I have been through so much in my life and had to, forgive myself and come to peace with myself for so many different things, which is a whole other story. Won't get into that, but I have found peace with myself, and I'm lucky to be here. Still to this day, I am lucky to be here, sitting here talking to you right now. So I don't have a bucket list either. It's every day is a gift. Everything new that I get to do for me is a gift, and that's the way I do my best every day to look at it that way. Yeah, there's some hard days, there's some difficult days, there's some down days, but there's some up days. You got to have balance. You can't have the good without the bad. Otherwise, everything's just normal. You'd get bored. You'd never go anywhere. There's no balance.
Yeah.
So I've really had to take a look at things like that. And, if I get the chance to go skydiving, I'm not gonna. I'm afraid of heights. But I might go to the Amazon jump. I might go to, Puma Punku and explore the ruins if I ever got a chance to.
There you go. I'm agreeing with you completely on that.
Yeah. Is it a goal that I can actually set right now for myself? Maybe, but financially it's not there. Time-wise, it's not there. I don't see myself ever getting there. But if the chance arises, if I meet the right person, who knows? So anything new that I get to do for me is a gift. That's the way I look at it. Mm-hmm. So I'm filling my bucket with gifts. How's that?
There you go.
There's an interesting one.
Who have you not met that you would like to meet? Wow, that's an interesting one. I really, the one person that comes to mind for me is Elton John. He's, Elton John.
Yeah, he's a very unique individual.
Wanted to meet Elton John since I was a teenager.
He's got some very amazing.
Most people, it's who you know, and you can reach out to someone and say, "Can you connect me with someone?" and so and so. I've never known anything about how to get in touch with Elton John. So if anybody out there knows, let me know. I'll do you a favor. Do me a favor.
I was just gonna say, you never know who's gonna pop upon this on a scroll and watch it and hear that. You never know. If you tell me tomorrow that you got a chance to meet Elton John from this, you better go do it.
Oh, I would, yeah. Mm-hmm. Jana asked, who have I met that I was starstruck by? Nobody. Never. Not one single time.
Just people,
I have
right?
not an ounce of starstruckness in me. And that's the honest truth. None of them. And I rattled off a few in the beginning, from Patrick Swayze, Matthew McConaughey, Ruby Rose, Orange is the New Black, The Rock, when I worked on Jumanji. Gosh, I could mention so many people, and they're just people. Now, I would probably be starstruck by Elton John.
I was waiting for that to come out.
I'm sorry. You knew it. You knew it was coming. Yeah, I can't help it. I would be starstruck. Jeannie says, love Elton. It was a religious experience seeing him live. Girl, I would cry too.
Yeah.
I would sob and cry like a child. I really would. I do not know what my obsession with Elton John. It's the piano and the voice, and I just love it.
It might be a combination of the vibrations from the strings in the piano, the way his voice.
Could be. It could be that because why does somebody like someone better than someone else? Musically and things like that. That would be one person that I would feel starstruck by. Would be Elton John. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who would be in the room with me. I'm not going to be starstruck by anybody. I've worked with the most famous people there are, and I never saw them as anything but clients. So that kind of, puts me in a different position.
Yeah.
Someone I'm going to make money from, or I'm going to get work for. So why should I be awestruck by you? You should be awestruck by me, because that's how you're making your money. That's you want the real talk. Get Elton on the phone, please, says Madonna. Graham Norton can contact Elton. Get in touch with Graham Norton's casting people. That's an idea. Thank you. I'll write that down. Graham Norton.
There you go.
Get me Elton. I'm writing that down. Madonna, thank you. A duet with Elton singing Benny and the Jets. Woo! Hearing you sing a duo with him, that'd be a hoot. Yeah, I would love that. Nobody wants to hear that from me.
And here's kind of a repeat question. This is actually one that I asked earlier, but I don't believe she knows at that time.
Yeah. Hi, Shanoa. We did talk about voiceovers, and we talked a little bit about what voiceovers actually are, and how in this age of digital, voiceovers aren't really in high demand anymore, because they just aren't. Back in the day, you used to have this really amazing voice, and it would get you a radio spot or a blurb over the television, but you had to be like super, super amazing with your voice. There's so many people out there, and the competition is so stiff, and we're in the digital age that, I mean, you watch a television commercial now, and a lot of times they will have the person acting in the commercial speaking. It's not as common anymore to have a lot of acting going on in the background and a voice over top of that, which is called the voiceover. So I don't have a lot of advice for people on voiceover. I did state earlier that if you want more industry hacks, I can give you some hacks on voiceover, how to try to get in and get your voice heard in front of people, and I've done that for quite a few people, and to get them in, to help them with radio and things. But like we said earlier in the show, voiceovers are almost a thing of the past, sort of like parts modeling for your hands, feet, elbows, things like that. They're not so much used anymore. But Shanoa, call me anytime, girl.
There you
Reach
go.
out. Yeah. I can't see questions, so as Keith pulls them up, I'll be glad to answer. Yes. Robin, you said it right there. Morgan Freeman was one that was just about to come out of my mouth. When you talk about voices, if you don't have a voice to match that or top that, I'm going to say good luck trying to get into the industry doing voiceover. If you don't have something super, super phenomenal.
I got some work to do then, don't I? Those are big shoes to fill.
Well, you do have a great voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you think you have to go to acting school to be successful in acting? I do not. But on the side of acting schools, there are so many things that they do teach you that you don't think about. You think that acting may be picking up that script, and reading from this script and trying to act out this emotion. What acting school does is it puts you into every scenario that you can imagine. Just like there are modeling schools out there are modeling schools that teach people how to walk on a runway, how to pose in front of a camera, what angles are more flattering for you, what clothing are more flattering for you. They all have their place. Very few people have gotten into acting that have not taken acting classes first, that have not been to an acting school or worked with an acting coach. what happens is if you're really good and you get into acting and they hire you for a certain job, they may recommend and set you up with an acting coach. So not necessarily a school where you go for a long term for tens of thousands of dollars, so to speak, but maybe a coach.
Okay.
Working with an acting coach that can put you through all the different scenarios, from the laughing to crying to getting into character. Where getting into character is everything from changing your posture to the way your eyes look. It's not just about reading and being able to act with another person. It's interacting, and it's what are the physical body changes that just happened to that person that had to take on this other role. So acting schools are great. Highly recommend them. If you can't afford an acting school and you want to get into acting, maybe get you a coach that can help you out on the side.
Yeah,
So
the coach makes a lot of
schools,
sense.
acting schools, yes.
Because if you're working out, trying to gain weight, lose weight, whatever, what do? You hire a personal trainer because they're specialized in that particular aspect. So they're able to help you more than say the gym owner. So that does make a lot of sense.
Any advice to get modeling work for older models? Same thing. Wilhelmina and the Ford agency both have mature model divisions. I have some hacks on those if you want to reach out to me personally. I'm not sure how much time we have left here. My battery is dying on my computer as well.
Okay.
But you can reach out to me on that, and I can give you the information on how to get to the mature models department of both of those modeling agencies. And give you a little more information about what their requirements are, and I can kind of point you in the right direction on that. They definitely are going on. I love the 50 plus genre myself. I did that on Instagram for a while. The over 50 models, gray hair, silver haired gals. So yeah, there's definitely a category for everybody, from kids to older models to petites to big beautiful women and so on.
Lola, I will. I'll put you in touch with her. Okay, remind me later. I'll put you in touch with her. Lola's a very good friend of mine. She's an awesome person.
Oh, I love her blue hair.
Yeah. I normally I don't like those bright colors and hair on people. I don't know what it is. It drives me nuts. But for some reason, she can rock it. She's got it. She's got it going on. Couple more here quick, and then we'll let you get off of here because your battery's dying, and I'm sure other people have other things to do tonight. So
stunt work really that dangerous. Hey, Madonna, you know who the stunt guys are? Chris Seraphim. Let me tell you something. Amazing stuff these guys do. It's extremely dangerous. And I say it's loads of fun, but it's tough work. And you can talk to these guys. My friend Chris and his twin brother both do that out in LA. But unfortunately, they both have been on hold, and they're working basically like security jobs on set now because there is no work in movies at all. But yeah, the stunt stuff is real life, and it's extreme talent. These are extreme athletes that do this type of work. And I know a couple of really amazing ones. And I think, Madonna, that you know about Chris, but if not, I'll make sure that you do.
yeah, I can imagine how all these car chases, these car scenes where you're rolling these cars, crashing, pulling up, jumping from building to building. I mean, I cannot imagine the injuries that they sustain, and what it does to their bodies. And I think we just lost you. Did your battery freeze up? Are you still there? Uh-oh. I think we lost her. Debbie. All right. Well, I think Debbie's battery died on her computer, and she did mention it was getting low. So with that, I am going to thank everybody who showed up and watched tonight. I get a lot out of these feeds. I have a great time doing them for you. Thank you very much for the questions. That helps keep the conversation go. Yep, we lost her. All right. Called that one. So on that note, if you haven't already, go like the Otter's Den. And if you're into paranormal, like the Cobra Paranormal page, along with spirit mechanics, you may learn a little bit here or there. We do some things here or there. I'm not going to go into a lot yet, but yeah, go like those if you want to get some information on that kind of stuff. Again, thank you, Debbie. I know you're not here, but thank you again for coming on tonight and helping me as well as my guests learn about the entertainment industry and kind of how to start breaking into that, which is something I'm going to give a lot of thought here. She's really opened up some thinking. So on that note, I am going to go ahead and sign off, and thank you again.